Okay, my friends, I have to tell you that last November, we had 7 dance studio owners from all over the United States. They jumped on a plane and attended the Dance Studio Owners Business Retreat in Ireland. And I have to tell you that I think it was just simply magical. And so on this week's episode, you know, I had to bring on one of our studio owners, Kerrie, who she's going to just we're going to have a chat about our time in Ireland now that we've had some time to kind of be away from it. We are back in the daily grind of all the things that we do as, studio owners, and really share her experience in what it was like joining us at the Dance Studio Owners Business Retreat, and what her big ahas and takeaways were for our time together. And so if you're joining us, please say hello. We always want to know who's joining us when we come on live every Wednesday. And if you come in here on the replay, we want to know that as well, because I want this to be an active conversation. We always love to chat. I'm a chatter, y'all, by nature. And so I want to make sure that this is a conversation. It's not us just talking to you. We want to talk with you. And so let us know. And if you stumbled upon this somehow, and this is your first broadcast with us, I'm Erin Bird, and I support dance studio owners and educators to really grow their businesses without the burnout, the overwhelm, sacrificing their personal life, or really looking at the what's next. The what's next, cutting through kind of maybe you've hit certain accomplishments and now you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do next. Where do I go from here? I love supporting studio owners with that. And so if you are joining us, please say hello. We want to know. And if something resonates with you, we want to know that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in my friend, my retreat attendee, Miss Kerrie. I'm going to let her introduce herself, let you guys know where she's from, about her studio, and then we're going to just have a conversation. We're going to have a little chat about our dance studio owner business retreat, and really kind of get into that. And you know me, I can't help myself. I might start reminiscing and telling stories. Can't help myself, but hopefully you enjoy it and you're entertained by it, whether you're here live or you're coming in on the replay. I do see a few friends here, so I'm gonna go ahead and be quiet. I'm gonna bring in Kerrie. I'm gonna try. Technology, we always are like, is this going to work for us? And so yay, it worked. I always like celebrate the moment that it actually works and it lets the other person in, because I mean, let's be honest, sometimes technology's done me dirty. So why not celebrate? Oh my goodness, Kerrie, I'm so excited to see you and have you here. And so I'm going to be quiet for a moment. I'm going to let you just introduce yourself, and then we're going to just start. We're going to have a little chat.
Wonderful. Well, good morning, I think, to most everybody on the call. I'm Kerrie. On social media, I'm Kerrie Ann Grace. I guess that's my stage name. Legally, I'm Kerrie Korsakowski, and I am the founder and director of Forevermore Dance and Theater Arts, our lovely mural behind me. I'm here at the studio, located in Chicago, and we just celebrated our 20th anniversary. Off
So good. So good.
a ton of celebrating and just a wonderful journey. And I'm really happy to be here today with you guys and to see you.
I know. Oh, we haven't gotten to see each other since we were together in Ireland, really. And so I'm so excited, to just be able to sit down and chat with you again, and really kind of reminisce, about things, and go through kind of what makes this special, because I think so many times that uh, we're presented with things, or we see things and we're maybe not quite sure what it's all about, and so we're maybe skeptical, or is that the right thing for me, or yeah, is that, I don't know what that is, right? So I think that it's just really great to have these conversations with those who are actually there, and kind of navigate your experience from your vantage point, because while yes, we do, I am the executive director of our arts education outreach nonprofit. I am still in it with y'all. It is a little bit of a different dynamic, right? I'm sitting from a different seat in that that our approach and business models may be a little bit different than your traditional brick and mortar. That being said, business is business. And so there's a lot of things that are crossed over. But I love to share from a studio's perspective, studio owner's perspective, who is brick and mortar. You've been in it for 20 years. That's a huge accomplishment and absolutely should be celebrated, right? You're in Chicago.
More than 20 years because I owned a studio for 4 years and then took a couple years off. So been doing this a long, long time. I
Yes.
the, the first thing I want to share is the difference between conference versus retreat.
Oh,
And the Ireland trip was retreat.
mhm.
It wasn't, yes, it had a conference ish component, but it truly was a retreat. And I know, anybody else who stuck it out as long as I have or longer, that raising kids and running the business, and I still am in the classroom quite a bit, even though my business is obviously well established.
Yeah.
In the classroom by choice. I love teaching. It's one of the biggest motivators to having a studio. But not just your business brain, but your artistic brain needs a chance to be fed and fueled. Like the artist in me needs retreat just as much as the business person. And through the years, um, felt like the only travel I ever did was always related to the studio. And it may have been what gave me permission to go ching on the retreat because that felt like it was in my comfort zone. But I just want to share that it was so much more than a conference. Like, and I'm so grateful that I took the risk to trust that this was going to be something more than just another conference, that it was an opportunity to really fill up my whole
Yeah.
being, which is so important as a leader.
I really, and I appreciate you saying that, because when I got first, when I was thinking about even just starting offering these retreats, I really was thinking about kind of coming from that place of leader in our business, right? In our businesses, we have multiple businesses, but in our businesses, and thinking about, okay, yes, we've got the kids, you got the family, you've got, as leaders, we're a lot of things, right? We're not just the leader in our business, but we're running the ship. And I'm like, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a, right? You have all these things. And we all talk about self-care and those sort of things, but are we really practicing it maybe every day? Are we thinking about it? Are we being intentional about it? And really curating an experience that not only for a long time I felt like was missing, right, for me, in our industry, but also even I'm one who looks outside of our industry when it comes to business mentors, coaches, things of that nature. I really, I'm looking all over the place to see, like, what is it that I need. And I had the opportunity to attend a retreat that one of my coaches she decided to do. And it was literally magic. And it was like, this is exactly what our dance studio owners need. Like, this is right. And then how do we make it so it makes sense for us? And so we were really thoughtful about, it has to be a combination. Like, it has to really be the perfect combination of rest, relaxation, a little luxury, and learning, right? And giving you that space, because as creatives, we for the most part are inspired by that space, right?
I can share many different times throughout my career, I've come across different versions of the life wheel, like the balance, all the different pieces. And, I think a lot of us entrepreneurs sometimes lack the fun component or because we do what we love, like work is our play, it is
Mm-hmm.
fun. But it was the perfect excuse to actually open myself up to having fun and exploring again. Travel had been a huge part of who I was, it feels like about 3 lifetimes ago.
Yeah.
Um, Way before kids and studio ownership, I had lived abroad, I'd traveled, I love Europe. I have not gone back. And it was a spontaneous thing to decide to go on the trip. And
Yes.
I'm again, I'm still, my heart is still so full. Every now and then, flip through my phone. I'm like, oh, the pictures.
Right, that memory hits you and you're like, oh, that was so good, right? And I love that you say that, because one of the, I think for so many people, and this is true for, I can say, a lot of the studio owners who have attended, whether it was in Ireland, whether it was at our beach retreat in Florida, that it was kind of that excuse. It was that, oh, I can write this off for taxes and I can kind of see what it's all about. Right, but then they came back and they're like,
Also, emotionally, like as a are so focused and driven, and you're always trying to improve and be better, that it sometimes does leave a lot of space for fun. So an excuse, on the books maybe, but also like permission
permission.
to that side of yourself, that,
Yeah.
oh, you are a whole person, and you need conversation and inspiration and relaxation.
100%. I'm so glad that you said that, because I think, and I will tell you, at that retreat the first retreat that I had gone to, that was kind of the catalyst for like, yes, I'm going to do this after, like I had thought about it, for a while. And then after being there, I was like, yes, I'm doing it. I'm not waiting anymore. We're going to do this thing. Um, she said something to me, and it's funny that you say this. She said, Erin, the more fun you have, the more money you'll make. And I was like, huh, right? Huh. Because the reality was, the sentiment was kind of saying, like, while I love what I do in all aspects, it's fun to me, being creative is fun to me. Sometimes you do get so used to the rhythm of things that maybe you aren't intentionally like thinking about fun and being playful in your discovery and who you are. So I absolutely love that you bring that up. And yes, y'all, I'm going to tell you, Kerrie, she was our last attendee to book her trip, which is okay. I love it. She said it was a little spontaneous. It was. And we kind of laughed because she booked her flight before she booked the retreat. Retreat, which is so funny. And I absolutely love, I just love that you're like, nope, we're going to make this happen. We're going to go. And so it was the catalyst, for you to kind of have fun and go and give yourself permission. And I know you had said that you had wanted to go to Ireland. For yourself, was there a specific reason that Ireland was calling your name, or just one that you're like, oh, I hadn't been there and I want to check it off?
I'm Kerrie Ann. I am a good 3/4 Irish. My father, when I was little, had an area in the den or back room, whatever, that he had all these steins from Ireland and this like tapestry of his family tree. And um, I know his parents were first generation immigrants and had pubs in Chicago, and he talked about Ireland a lot. So there was always in the back of my mind as a little girl. And then my grandmother was from England, and I had been to England, but I'd never been to rural England. I'd only been to London.
Sure.
Um, Before she passed, we were supposed to go visit the little village she's from. So for me, some of the uh, romantic appeal of going was knowing that the Irish countryside's not too much different than the English countryside. They're neighbors. And
Right.
I'm telling you, on the trip, seeing the thatched roof houses, that's like looked like the picture of my grandmother's house and the stories that she'd told me that were so personal and intimate. So drawn to go to Ireland because there was literally a part of my ancestors calling me to go. And I so many magical moments while I was there where I felt home. And
Yeah.
I really had no idea. I wasn't like, I'm going to go to Ireland someday, or I love Ireland. It wasn't that. Just like a calling in my
Yeah.
heart to
Yeah.
go on this trip.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I think that sometimes, innately we are pulled. and we might not, it might not be something that we had thought about before, but there's just something inside of us. And I really do think that there's something to be said about, if you feel that pull, or if you feel, I'm a firm believer, like, trust your gut. If something is telling you you should do XYZ, you should probably do XYZ, even if there is doubt, fear, all of the things, because I think we know, like, internally, intrinsically inside, we all know what we need. And
Oh,
so, and so I think that I love that you listen to that.
but,
You're pulled from
but
that.
if you ever pause
Yeah.
to, we talk in conference
Mhm.
dance world, to work on your business, not just in your business,
Mhm.
but you also sometimes have to not just be in you, but you have to work on you and you have to make
Yes.
space for that.
Yes.
So I think when we get those nudges that feel really strong, you have to listen because that's something that's more intelligent than our like robot do brain can
Yeah.
ever.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. So let's just dive into kind of your thoughts or your takeaways when it comes to the, if there was one thing that you felt like, oh my gosh, this either surprised me once I got there, like, was there something that you didn't expect when you got there, or there was a surprise or a moment of like, aha, takeaway, something that uh, kind of surprised you? And I don't know if there is or not. You're like, nope, exactly what I thought it was going to be. Or was there something that you walked away with that you're like, I didn't expect that?
Well, the whole experience was magical. It was a magical trip. There were a lot of fun surprises that you guys had put together. That even though on paper there was an itinerary, you got there to actually live it. Being in the castle, and eating our meals in the castle. The people at the castle helped arrange. I got to go horseback riding. Um, so I had like a lot of just personal adventure when
Mhm.
we did the excursion to the cliffs. That was like just the little girl in me that always dreamed of adventure. I felt like I got to play that out,
Mhm.
and um, I felt really present when we
Mhm.
had our group sessions. I felt
Mhm.
like I was able to listen to perspectives of people that I didn't know. And
Mhm.
it was the first time that I got to work with you as well. And I took a
Yeah.
lot of notes and I kind of just listened. And I came knowing that I didn't want to work hard, but
Mhm.
again, working is fun.
Right.
Learning is better. It's fun to me. So it was really nice to like have that kind of stirring in the back of my mind to let it just marinate. And then you and I had a lovely long conversation towards the very end of the trip on the train. And because it was my first time really digging in deep with you, I think it gave me an opportunity to process everything that had happened while things were marinating in the background. So there was a, I walked away after that conversation, coaching with you, feeling really empowered that
Mhm.
all this, I felt like I've spent a couple years of my life going, I don't know what I want. I like this, I like that. I don't know what's next. I don't know what's next. Exit strategy or dig deeper. Da, 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 or I just felt like I had so much going on inside of myself, and the experience of removing myself from my life completely, going on this adventure, fulfilling like a piece of my soul that was longing for this, and then having that really deep, high level conversation about what is next. And I felt like I was able to lay out a map of what it is I really want, and to also very firmly declare that it's not an exit out of the studio, it's an expansion, not a physical like franchise, multiple
No.
locations, expansion of myself as a leader. I love leading my business, but I think I've got a more. I want to reach out to more. I away from the trip really being solidified that I think I am leaning towards developing a writing career and a public speaking career, and I it it's not like I'm gonna quit the studio and go do something else, but
Yeah.
it felt like a really natural progression of, oh, I have all of this life experience and I want to
Mhm.
continue to serve. And just so grateful for the time, that precious little time. And it felt kind of Harry Potterish to be on the train. Conversation with you, Erin. It was that was really a super huge highlight
Yeah.
professional for me. And it did motivate me. I was working with a life coach when I got back from the trip, somebody local in my town. And I talked so much about that was really like the seed that planted thinking about what's next for me.
Yeah. And I love that. I did love our time sitting on the train together. It took what felt like was going to be a little bit of a journey, and it was like, wait, our train ride is over. We have to get up. Like, because it was just such a great, not only just conversation, but a kind of a digging through. And one of the things, and I hope you don't mind me sharing, is that idea of kind of sometimes we feel like there's expectations, or people think like, well, this is just the next progression, right? And really leaning into the idea of like, you don't have to do what everybody else does. You have to do what feels right to you. And so there were some options that when we were talking through it, like the, do I open another location, do I do, like, all those things that a lot of times as studio owners, when we feel like we've gotten to a certain level, we've maxed out our current space, or we are in a really good place where things are systemized and that sort of thing, we start to think about that idea of, okay, do we open another location, do we go in a coach and do it? And as we had that conversation and we were pulling back the layers, it was really clear that those weren't really options for you that felt good and in alignment with who you are as a person and what you want moving forward. And so that's what I really love. One of, for me personally, one of the things that I absolutely adore during our Dance Studio Owners Business Retreat is that one-on-one time that we get to talk about what's next. And I have to tell you, after leaving Ireland, and of course, we had already decided on our location for our next retreat that's coming up in November. Y'all, we're going to go to Australia, to the Gold Coast. And so that's November 4th through 8th. But what I have to tell y'all is, when I left Ireland and I started thinking about themes, like, what is the theme of this next retreat that's coming up? I really started to think about, what is that next level of success? And what does that look like to you? Because success looks like, what my success looks like to me is very different maybe than what Kerrie thinks is success. And what, that success is a very personal thing, by definition. And so when I started thinking about that after I left Ireland, as we were talking to each studio owner and doing our one-on-ones, I have to tell you that most of the studio owners were like, I just don't know what's next for me. Like, everyone was kind of in that place for the most part of like, what's next? And I love that we had such a really great seasoned group, variations of where they were at in their business, but, the what was next. And so it really was a catalyst to say, okay, the theme of this next retreat is really what's next, and next level success. And so, you know, I thought, okay, who am I going to bring up? So this retreat is going to be, they're still learning, right? We still have surprises that are, I mean, like, so good. I'm so excited about them. But we have some surprises planned. But we also have some guest speakers that are from Australia that are coming in. We've got Stacey Morgan, who's done amazing things. We've got Simone Cadell. So we're going to have some local Australian guest speakers that are going to come in and talk about their journey and their next level success and what it looked like to scale, what it looked like to say, I want to start this whole different business over here that maybe doesn't have anything to do with dance, right? We've got our dance businesses, we've got our studios, but I really felt called to come over here and do this other thing, right? Outside the wheelhouse. So I'm really excited about having them come in because they both are powerhouse women in Australia, I have to tell y'all. And even here, Stacey Morgan, she comes over here and she speaks a lot here in the US. Um, I know, right? How am I keeping my mouth shut about surprises? That level of self control I don't have. It is one of the hardest things for me. Can I tell you what? It's like, but I have to keep a couple surprises held close because I think that that's part of the magic and the fun, right? The fun of the experience is coming in and saying, oh my gosh, surprise and delight, right? And so I think that's part of it. It is hard. I'm not going to lie. Because sometimes I'm like, you have to come because you don't know what's planned. They're like, well, what's planned? I'm like, oh, you just got to come. No, but anyway, the reality is, yes. So there's surprises booked in there, and we've got really wonderful experiences. We're going to have breakfast with the koalas one morning, and we're going to get to hug them and go through this beautiful, small nature preserve. It's going to be so, so good. Lots of just great surprises. But one of the things that so I was really thinking about this next retreat and like what does that look like and I always want to do things a little bit better. I my hope is I can always plus it somehow. And so my hope and I think after going through this plan that this one will be plussed a little bit. Plus, Kerrie, what's the weather like in November in Chicago? Because I mean, is it beautiful? Like in November, is it nice? Is it cold? Is it starting to like? I don't know because I obviously am not from Chicago. I'm here in California, and it's fall in November.
It's fall. Sometimes we've already had snow. Sometimes it's that Indian summer. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's feels like July.
Okay.
It's one day you're in a tank top, one day you've got a hat and gloves and scarf on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I have to tell you that I know for sure I don't have snow in November. That being said, I've heard from other like last year when we were going, we had some attendees who are from Minnesota or things of that nature, and they're like, nope, by now we typically have snow. And so it's nice to go to the beach, right? And because it will not be cold in Australia when we go. It will be beautiful. So I'm super excited about that. I'm going to drop this in here for y'all. But know that if you have questions about the retreat that's coming up, we keep these small on purpose. And so I wanted to get your thoughts about that. We really tried to keep this an intimate experience. We wanted, everybody to really connect, like have those moments to find their people that they really connect with. And so do you feel like, what do you feel like that in
I,
that
I can
capacity?
share. So to be in a small enough group that you can all sit at the same table together is a beautiful thing. Um, Whatever relationship you have with food, food is representative of
Mm-hmm.
and is something that I cherished on the trip. And then the traveling that we did
Mm-hmm.
on that particular trip, just the time to sit where you're not driving or you're not in charge, and to be in a small enough group. All of the different types of excursions we did, I felt like throughout the course of the trip, I had an opportunity to have a meaningful conversation with everyone. I love to walk and talk. So when you're in motion and you get a
Mm-hmm.
chance, yeah, you talk about the studio, but you also talk about life, and then you talk about what's right in front of you, and it's just a huge, huge bonding
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. Very, very wonderful to be in an intimate setting.
Yeah, it's one of the things where as we're curating, I was thinking about, like, again, those aspects, right? And in that we want the community, and we want people who understand us, who, so we can feel seen and heard. But I think that that's, as we were looking, yes, could we have had more people join us? If we had opened the door, we could have, but I don't think it would have been the same experience. And so, really, like, as we're getting ready for Australia, again, we are only taking 8 studio owners. And so we want to make sure, because we want to keep the integrity there. We want to keep that intimate experience. We want people to really connect. And what I have to tell you is, we actually have some studio owners who went on our last couple of retreats, and they found their business bestie. And they, like, are on opposite sides of the country, and they talk every week at least. Now they're still like, oh my gosh, they get me, and I connected on this level that even if I had gone to different conferences for years, that maybe I didn't get that deep of a connection with somebody.
Well, I think we as studio owners, a traditional marketing slogan is, friendship memories. Your dance friends are your best friends, forever
Mhm.
friends.
Right.
I think about it. My college dance friends, they're still all of my best friends. All of the people I danced professionally with are the godparents to my children.
Mhm.
People that I still call with major
Yeah.
life events,
Yeah.
and it is wonderful, wonderful to keep that type of connection.
Mm-hmm.
And studio owners are very good friends to other studio owners. This is a can be somewhat of a
Mm-hmm.
lonely job, because as much as we love our teams, they are still our employees technically,
Yeah.
and it's not their business. They will come and go throughout life,
Mm-hmm.
but when you have this kind of parallel life with your studio owner buddies,
Yeah.
make for the best friends and somebody who just really gets it.
They get it, right? And so, yes, I absolutely love that. I can say the same sentiment. I have my best friend who still to this day, and we started dancing together in high school, and so we've carried, that relationship and that friendship. And Chelsea, you can have a bestie. I promise you, you can have a bestie. It's really one of those things where it can feel really hard, and sometimes it might feel like there's competition or whatever. It's hard for you to maybe find that peer or that bestie in your local community, because for whatever reason, sometimes there's those feelings. And so when you're able to travel outside of your radius, and you're like, okay, I've got somebody here from this state and this state and this state and this country and this whatever. I mean, because that's honestly what happened. It's really easy to feel like, oh my gosh, even though, you're in another country, we have the same challenges. We have the same, we get each other. We have the same joyful things that are happening. We get our inspiration from, like, you feel like you found that person. And sometimes it just is taking the risk and saying, what am I open to? Right? What am I open to? And and the beautiful byproduct sometimes is finding that business bestie, right? And so I absolutely, love that. But you can find we can help you find your bestie. We can help you find that. Okay, so I don't want to take too much of everybody's time, because everyone's time is really, really valuable. So I just want to ask one last question of you, if you don't mind. If there was anybody who is kind of eyeing this next Australia retreat, and, like, weighing, all the things, the time away from the studio, time away from family, obviously investment, things of that nature, and they're kind of just struggling with the thought of it, and just go. Now, is there something that you would say to them to help them, make the best educated decision possible? Because I think that, for me, I could say, well, just go. That's not who I am. But coming from you, and just kind of your thought process and from pulling from your experience and your time with us together on this fun adventure and whatnot, what would you say to them if they're if they've been eyeing it and they're not quite sure because maybe they've never worked with me before, or maybe they're like, I don't know, traveling by myself, maybe that's scary to, like, there's a lot of different reasons that people they're not quite sure. What would you say to them?
Okay, well, I want to start it by saying earlier in our conversation, you said, everybody measures success differently, wherever we're at on our journey.
Yeah.
And having just gone through a milestone, 20 years, with people coming out of the woodwork, congratulating me on my success, and finally humbly going, oh yeah, wow, that was huge. But recently somebody outside of the industry, it was like a dinner conversation, measure success. When did you feel successful? And it was shortly after the trip. We'd had our holiday show and we had a staff meeting, or not a staff meeting, staff celebration. It was right after the holiday show. I took everybody out to dinner. They had little, beanies because it's cold here in Chicago. That had our logo on it. And there's a photo, but I remember the feeling when I took the photo and they were all leaning in with their smiles on and their little beanies. And it was this kind of full circle moment of, I cannot believe that I got to go on this adventure because I have a team that I trust and who loves me and trusts that filling up my cup, I get to come back and lead them even better. And it was that little Christmas card moment for me, like it hit me hard. Wow, I went to Ireland and the studio didn't fall apart because I left. And I had a team here that told me, oh my gosh, don't pass up that opportunity. You have to go, because they know that if I'm inspired, I come back and I lead them better. And to me, that's success, is having a team that I know I'm making a difference in their lives. They get to continue to make an even bigger impact, that it's not just me in my classroom, but now it's me in their classrooms. And then whatever else they go on to do, many of them will probably go on and own their own studios someday. And I'm modeling for them that that is part of leadership, is to fill up your cup. And we talk all the time as a staff, I constantly tell them personal and professional development is part of your journey. So if I don't model that for them, how can I expect them to be better? How do I expect them to keep going to class or to read business books, or like I have to show the way. It's just like parenting. You want your kids to behave a certain way? Well, guess what? You better act that way. So if personal and professional development is something you want to see in your staff, because being a strong leader is how you measure success, don't hesitate to take an opportunity to better yourself.
I love it. I love it so much.
Oh my God, I always wanted to go to Australia and I'm scared to travel. Just do it. They speak English there. Like,
I mean,
beautiful and such a fun trip.
Yeah, and I think that the one of the things that we really do try to do is help you guys navigate that. So, the last trip to Ireland, we had a few people who were like, I'm a little nervous because either A, this is my first time traveling internationally, or maybe this is my first time traveling by myself internationally. And so I'm a little nervous with that, and so my goal is to really help everyone feel oh yes, girl, she's I'm sorry, I have to share this. She said her first kiss was an Australian hottie. Go for it. I love it so much. And but we really want to make sure that you do feel like you have all the resources, all the information. We really want to help you. We want to remove those concerns. And so if part of you being on the fence is because you have never done this sort of travel before, or you're not sure about traveling alone, the first thing I have to say is that once we get together, you're not traveling alone, right? And we want to make sure that I am a little mother hen in that, like, I need your itinerary. I want to make sure that you got here okay. Like, I do ask for all of those things so then we can make sure that you get where you're supposed to be. Um, but
But every she's saying it, like overarching, you're supported if there's any nerves, but also so much space
yes,
to explore and be on your own also.
yes, yes. I believe in choose your own adventure, right? And that there's space if you want space and you want to go on your own, go on your own. If you don't want to go on your own and you found your little bestie in that side, that group, we had a lot of people who would pair up and say, oh, I'm going to go check out XYZ, and that's great. And then we have some people who are like, I'm going to go on my own. I need to do this. Like when we went to the cliffs, we had someone who's like, I need to go on my own. I want to kind of conquer a fear that I have, and I want to do this on my own, which is perfectly perfect. So, anywho, I'm gonna let. Yeah, I know you need to. We're gonna wrap it up right now. You're okay. You're okay. Okay, my friends. So here's the thing I have to tell you. Like Australia is going to be simply amazing as well for our next dance studio owners business retreat. If you are thinking about joining us, if you're wondering what this is all about, drop the word retreat below. I will reach out to you. We can have a chat about what this retreat looks like coming up and how we can get you there. It is absolutely amazing, and I'm so excited for it to come, and I'm so grateful for Kerrie coming on and really sharing with us her experience. I know she's at the studio multitasking, and so so we are wrapping it up because we have been here for a while. I want to make sure that we know that I'm going to bring her. I think she's right. I'm going to bring her back in just to give an official thank you and congratulations. So I'm going to do this and bring you back in real quick. Thank you so much. I know we're all being have all the different things happening. So thank you so much, Kerrie, for coming on and sharing your experience, your ahas, your takeaways. Some of those moments that I think that were special and meaningful to you, and the why they were meaningful for you. And I really do appreciate that because I believe it can be so impactful for other studio owners who are kind of thinking about, is this the right thing for me? So I really, really appreciate you coming on and sharing your experience with us. And so thank you. And a huge congratulations on celebrating your 20th anniversary for this studio and really making such a huge impact, not only inside the four walls of your studio, but in your community and in our industry because you are so giving. And I think that after we got off that train, that there's a path for you to even make a bigger impact inside of our industry and see the ripple effect really take form.
Thank
So
you.
I'm so thank you. No, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us. My friends, I'm going to leave you there for today. I hope that you have a fantastic week. Again, if you have questions about our dance studio owner business retreat, just drop the word retreat below. I will reach out to you. We will have a chat about it. If you are ready to book, let me know as well. And you can go to dancestudioempires.com/Australia retreat. But know, my friends, that we can have a chat about it and get you all set up. So we're going to leave you there. I hope you have a fantastic week, my friends, and I will see you next Wednesday. Maybe. Hold on. Let me take a look. I'm taking it back. I will not be here live next Wednesday because it's my birthday next Wednesday. And so thank you. So I'm actually going to take the whole day off to spend with my family. So there will be a replay available, y'all, just so you know, there will be something for you to watch next Wednesday, but I won't be here live. And then I will be back on the 31st live before I head out to Dance Teacher Web Conference. So I'm going to leave you all there. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you all very, very soon.